We're back with our mission to apply ratios to the real world. Today we'll be solving word problems using the UPAC method. Understand, plan, answer, check. As we go through that, we're going to make sure we determine the number of terms each ratio should have, the order those terms should be in. We'll look to see if there's any missing information that we need to solve for. Then we'll answer the problem and make sure we simplify. Finally, we will check our answer to make sure everything makes sense and our ratio really represents this part-part or part-whole comparison. All right, let's get started. Here's our first problem today. There are 40 students in a class. 25 of them are boys. Find the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls in the class. We're always going to write our ratios in simplest form. So first, let's check how many terms are there. Well, we're comparing the number of boys to the number of girls. So that's two terms. I need a number, a colon, and a number. Now, what's the order of those two terms? Well, we're comparing the number of boys to the number of girls. We know the number of boys, that's 25, so that one's going to go first. But we don't know the number of girls. So let's plan by solving for that missing information. We know the total and a part, the number of boys, but we don't know the other part. So we're going to use subtraction to figure out that answer. The number of girls is the same as 40 minus 25, which equals 15. So the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls is 25 to 15. But wait, we can simplify. Every time we find that answer, we need to look to see if our terms in our ratio show up on the same times table. 25 and 15 are both part of the 5 times table. So we can reduce or simplify the ratio 25 to 15 to the ratio 5 to 3, because 5 times 5 is 25 and 3 times 5 is 15. So the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls is 5 to 3. Now I'm going to look back at that and check it. Got two terms. Boys come first. I figured out the missing information. I noticed the number of boys is greater than the number of girls. That's good. All right, I think my answer is correct. Okay, when we use the UPAC method, we've gone logically through the steps. We've broken down a big problem into tiny, easily solvable mini problems. Now, this was your problem last week, which we're going to go over the answer for. If you already knew the answer and you got 100 on it last week, you can skip ahead about 1 minute. In ABC school, there are 24 female teachers and 10 male teachers. What is the ratio of the number of male teachers to the number of female teachers to the total number of teachers? The first thing we need to realize in this problem is that we are looking for a ratio with 3 terms, a part, followed by a whole, okay? The order of those goes male, female, everybody. So we know the number of male teachers, we know the number of female teachers, but we don't know the total. So we need to use addition to sum those parts and find the total number of teachers. 24 teachers plus 10 teachers gives us 34 teachers. Now, when we put it in the correct order, our ratio of male to female to total teachers is 10 to 24 to 34. But wait, we've got to look for a chance to simplify. 10, 24, and 34 are all even numbers, which means that they are on the 2 times table. Let's divide each term by 2 and come up with a simplified answer. 10 divided by 2 is 5, 24 divided by 2 is 12, 34 divided by 2 is 17. So 10 to 12 to 17 is the ratio of the number of male teachers to the number of female teachers to the total number of teachers. Since 17 is a prime number, I know that I can't simplify it any further because 5 and 12 are smaller than 17. Now to check my answer, I'm remembering that this was a part-whole ratio. Since there are only 2 parts and my last term is the whole, I can expect that if I add up the first 2 terms, I should get the second term. So 5 plus 12 equals 17. That's perfect. 5 to 12 to 17 makes sense for this ratio. Now let's try some new problems you haven't seen before. Tom has 7 oranges and 3 apples. The oranges cost him 21 pesos. He spent 36 pesos in total. How much did each apple cost? Whoa! Let's put on the brakes. We've got a lot of unknown information. Let's draw a bar diagram to better understand what we know and what we don't know, and also what we want to know. Organizing this information can help make sure that you're taking the correct steps and not getting lost or confused, spinning, trying to figure out where to begin. So here I've drawn a picture of Tom's 7 oranges and 3 apples. Notice the oranges are represented by the orange boxes and the apples by the red boxes. We know that the oranges cost him 21 pesos. That's a part of everything he spent. We know that in total he spent 36 pesos. But we want to know how much each apple costs. But how can we figure that out if we don't know how much all 3 apples cost together? So now we've realized we kind of have 2 steps of things we need to figure out. The bar diagram made this so much clearer, and this technique can really be applied to so many different types of problems. So let's go through the steps. 7 oranges cost 21 pesos, so 1 orange costs 3 pesos. I can use division when I have a group of things with the same value. The cost of 3 apples is 36 minus 21. Everything he spent minus the stuff he spent on the oranges. So the 3 apples cost 15 pesos. If 3 apples cost 15 pesos, then 1 apple costs 5 pesos. I got that by dividing. But you also might have noticed that there's a hidden ratio in this problem. 3 to 15 is equivalent to 1 to 5. This type of simplifying uses division. So we can think of this as a division problem, and we can think of this as a ratio problem. At the end of the day, as long as we find the information we didn't know and the information we were looking for, it's all good. We used our knowledge of division and multiplication to solve that word problem very easily. Even though the problem was complex and had multiple steps, when we drew it out, we could understand better what it was that we were looking for. Let us remember these simple steps and solve some word problems with ratios. The ratio of a length of wire A to the length of wire B is 7 to 4. If wire A is 21 meters long, find the length of wire B. Now, we have a bar model drawn for us already. We can see that wire A is much longer than wire B, and we see that the ratio 7 to 4 is represented with those boxes on our bar model. So if 7 units gives us 21 meters, in each of those little boxes, we must have 3 meters. Now we can get that through division or multiplication facts. 21 divided by 7 gives us 3. So each of those blue squares equals 3 meters. Well, wire B has 4 blue squares, which must mean that it has 12 meters in length. So the length of wire B is 12 meters. Now, you might have also noted that 21 to 12 is an equivalent ratio of 7 to 4. So here, once again, we're using multiplication and division, but we can also think of it as an equivalent ratio problem. Next, Kate and Kelly shared $35 in the ratio of 4 to 3. How much money did Kate receive? Let's stop and try to understand this problem. So we're trying to figure out how much money Kate got. We don't know how much money Kate had, and we don't know how much money Shelley had, but we know how much money they had all together, and we know the ratio by which they split it up. So we have 4 units for Kate and 3 units for Shelley, and 7 units all together. If 7 units all together gives us $35 all together, we can find the cost of 1 unit. So if 7 units is $35, then 1 unit is the same as 35 divided into 7 equal groups, or 5. So now, since we know each green square is equivalent to $5, we can find out how much money Kate has. Well, Kate has 4 green squares, 4 units. 4 units times $5 is going to give us $20. So Kate received $20. This problem, which at first seems so complex, becomes a lot easier when we draw a picture and remember what we know about ratios. Here's the math so that you can work out exactly how that happens. Now we have another problem like this. This is going to be your test problem today, so I'm not going to give you the whole answer, but I will help you with the setup. The ratio of the mass of parcel X, or package X, to the mass of package Y is 5 to 3. If the mass of package X is 40 kilograms, find the total mass of the 2 parcels. So now we don't know the total, We don't know one of the parts, but we do know the other part, and we know how the whole thing is broken down into ratios. So once again, what we're really looking for is what is that little orange square worth? And then I can use multiplication to figure out what all the squares or some of the squares are worth. So here we have 5 units being equal to 40 kilograms. If 5 units makes 40 kilograms, then 1 unit is the same as 40 kilograms divided into 5 equal parts. So you need to find 40 divided by 5. Once you get that answer, you'll know that that is the amount that is equal to every single orange block. Now the problem asks us to find the total mass of the 2 parcels. So I need to count up all of the orange boxes because that will give me the total. Okay, so I found 1 orange box is equal to the mystery number that I'm not telling you. And now you're going to need to multiply that mystery number by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 units at a rate of whatever you got for the first unit. When you multiply that, you will get the mass in kilograms of the entire set of 2 packages. A kennel has 65 dogs in total. Some are puppies and some are adult dogs. I want to pause right here. I want you to see how they gave us the whole amount, 65 dogs, and separated parts. There's some puppies and some adult dogs. We know that the ratio of puppies to adult dogs in a kennel is 3 puppies for every 2 adult dogs. How many puppies are there? So in this problem, I want to encourage you to draw a picture. When you draw your picture, you should have puppies on top with 3 squares or 3 puppy faces, however you'd like to put it, and adult dogs on the bottom with 2 units. Altogether, there are 5 units, and those 5 units give us 65 dogs. That means every single unit is worth 13 dogs because 5 times 13 gives us 65. Okay? So every single little puppy face or little square you drew is worth 13 dogs. Now, since we know that there were 3 units of puppies and 2 units of adult dogs, we can find the answer through multiplication. Okay? This one is flipped, so I will make the correction in your Google Classroom, but if the ratio of puppies to adult dogs is 3 to 2, there are 39 puppies and 26 adult dogs. So just disregard that. There's a bag which contains 80 total marbles. Some of them are transparent and some of them are red. Remember, transparent means that the light is moving through it. Okay? The ratio of transparent marbles to red ones is 2 to 3. How many red marbles are there? Now, once again, I want you to draw this picture. Right now, pause the video and put transparent marbles, red marbles, and write how many you have of each one. You should have 2 units on top for transparent and 3 units on the bottom for red marbles. Altogether, you've got 5 units. So divide that total 80 by 5. Okay, you should get 16. And you're going to multiply 16 to find how many transparent marbles and how many red marbles you have. Okay, very nice. This pattern that we've gone through, knowing the total, breaking down the total, right? Creating a bar model, finding the meaning of 1 unit, and then multiplying to figure out whichever part or whichever whole we're looking for is a really good technique as you're looking at ratios. Don't forget that when we have a tricky problem with lots of unknown information, we should draw a bar model to illustrate what we know, what we don't know, and what we're looking to find out. Okay? Use the UPAC method. And every time you find an answer, check to make sure you have the right number of parts in the right order and you've simplified. Good luck!